Okay, can you hear me?
We can.
Oh, I think I'm echoing from my phone right now. Sheila, is there a dial-in number that I could use to call in if this happens again? Do you know?
I texted Teresa to try to get you one.
Okay, so we're just going to rock and roll, guys. For those that are watching, I apologize for the technical issue, but in the interest of time, we're going to get going here. So can you see this? Are you presenting the slides, or is it presenting my version right now, Sheila?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that out. I do see it up. I just don't know if anyone else sees it.
Okay, can you guys see the slides? And Sheila, are you able to share them? So that way, if I go out, if I get a dial-in number, then I will just dial in and we can keep going here. So Lady Sarah is saying she can see them. And I said, first person to reply gets a free page set up. Vicky, Servin, Estelle, you win the grand prize. So I will contact you, Vicky, and we'll get your page set up for free. This is a little bit of, instead of pie, can't give you guys a pie, but I'm going to give you a free page setup. And if you stick around till the very end, I'm going to give another one with a different question. So another organization who needs help setting up their company page, I'll set that up for you for free, but you need to stay online until the end of the session here today to get that offer, okay? And we're just trying to make sure Sheila can share her slides, because I'm going to have Sheila navigate. So if I lose connection, I'm going to try to get a dial-in number to join, and then we can keep on going here. So Sheila, I see want more than your fair share of the pie on screen.
Yes.
So you're in good shape. So I'm going to maximize the video on screen. And then if you could please click to the next slide. Hi, I'm Brenda Meller. In the interest of time, I'm seeing a 370 phone number come in. Is that somebody from Motown support perhaps calling me? I'm not sure. I'm going to decline the call. All right, so we're going to move on. You guys know, I think many of you know me, Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. I'm an independent marketing consultant. I come from a marketing background. What else do you need to know about me? I love pie and I love jigsaw puzzles. Move on to the next slide. That's enough from there. We're going to keep this moving along. I want you guys to use chat if you could right now, and just a quick introduction of yourself in chat. Do you have a company page on LinkedIn for your nonprofit? So you can say, yes, we have a company page. No, we do not. If there's something you hope I cover here in training, please message that in chat right now and tell me your favorite kind of pie, okay? And while you're putting that in, that helps to keep chat kind of going along. I want you to move on to the next slide, Sheila, because now we're going to jump right into talking about just some quick reminders on LinkedIn. Reminder that if your company has a social media policy, anything I say does not get overridden by that. You got to go with what they say in your social media policy. So be aware of that. LinkedIn is continually changing. My view looks a little different than your view. If you're actually in my home office, that's what you would be seeing, the photo on the screen. This is kind of my video setup at home today. Everyone has a different comfort level. I want to make you more comfortable as a nonprofit professional, figuring out how to use this company page. That's my goal. My ultimate hope is that you'll listen, learn, and decide for yourself how these techniques can work for you. You can go ahead and advance on to the next slide. And this will be recorded. We'll share the playback link with you guys later. Right, Sheila? This whole thing is being recorded?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So I just want to start briefly, because some people say, Brenda, why do I need a company page? I have a profile. I want you to think about this analogy. Your profile on LinkedIn is for networking. It's kind of like going to the mall, if you will. Why do we go to the mall? Well, we go just to get out of the house, right? We might go for networking, so to speak, social networking, if you will, just to hang out with our friends or family members or do holiday shopping. And we just go to hang out with people. Sometimes we go to do shopping or to the food court, but we're just kind of going for networking, if you will. Your company page is like walking inside a store in the mall. So when I walk into Bath and Body Works, I am now open and receptive to their lotions and their soaps and all the other good stuff. And that sales associate walks up to me with a basket and she'll say, welcome to Bath and Body Works. We're doing buy 3, get 3 free. And I'm like, dang it, I was going to get out of here without buying anything. But I grab the basket because I'm open and receptive to their products and services. So whereas being on LinkedIn with your own profile is like networking, going into a store, we are open to whatever those promotional messages are, those branded messages are. We're open to learning more about their products and services. So that's part of the reason why you need a company page. If you could move on to the next slide, and I have a Vanna White running my slide deck for me here today. So let's get into building your company page, and you can advance on to the next slide right now, Sheila. And I want you to consider this one thing before we go on. Consider the gray avatar, okay? if you have your phone with you, do this right now. Go to your profile, your LinkedIn profile on your phone. If you do not have a company page set up on your LinkedIn profile, you have one of these little gray avatars. You might have the old one, which is the gray block with the building, or the newer one, which is the gray block with the blue buildings, right? Whatever it is, what does this gray block mean? Well, to somebody looking at your profile, it means that your company is not well established. It means they're not a legitimate business, right? Or you're working out of your basement or some variation of that. None of those may be true, or all of those may be true, but we don't want to give people the wrong impression of our brand. Even if you are a nonprofit, you can and you should have a company page, because once you set it up, you kill that gray avatar and you have a logo on your profile instead. Go ahead and advance now to the next slide if you could, Sheila. And I want to walk you through now what you need at minimum. So as you're getting this process started of getting your page set up, this is what you should have kind of in front of you or in a file on your desktop or kind of at the ready, okay? You need to be an employee of the company, first of all. You need to be somebody working for the company. You need to have your logo. Ideally, it's a 300 by 300 pixel. Consider that it's really tiny on your profile. So some companies, instead of saying, I'm just making this up, Ford Motor Company, they might just have F, the letter F, and like a blue symbol in the background. So consider it's really tiny. Is there an abridged version of your logo that you can use? You need to have your website link. If you don't have a website, you can just send them to your profile. So that's my little hack there. You need to have a header graphic, and this can be like a 1128 by 191 size. It can be just a color block. It can be an image or something from your website. This is something you can wait on, but I would recommend you have this kind of ready to go. Some description of your company, which you can pull from your website, your proposals, etc. A list of your products and services that you offer, that would be helpful to have. And then a list of people you want to make admins, and we can always add those in later. We can go on to the next slide. These are just some items I would recommend that you have ready to go as you're walking through your setup process. So the very first thing you want to do, and again, remember, this is recorded and you will be able to get a copy of the slides so you can walk back through this later. This is the process for setting up a company page. In the top navigation, you're going to click on the little building icon that says work. Click on the work icon. You'll get a menu of options underneath. At the very bottom, it says create a company page. Next slide, please. Super simple to do this process, guys. The next screen, it says pick one. Are you a small business, a medium to large? Is this a showcase page, which is kind of like a subset of your parent company? I wouldn't recommend those, by the way. Or are you an educational institution? So pick whatever. You can just pick small business to get started. Go ahead and do the next slide now. So super simple. Then we fill out the required fields. And these are the only items that are required to get the page set up, okay? You need to have your name, which is your company name. The URL is automatically going to be set up by LinkedIn as you type in your company name. You might need to make some minor modifications after you look and see how that's set up, or they might say somebody else has this name already on LinkedIn, so you might need to say Meller Marketing LLC if somebody else is Meller Marketing, for example. Minor modifications. You need to choose your industry. Just choose the best option from the list, your company size, your company type, and just choose the best option. Don't overthink it. You can always come back and make changes later. This is where you upload your logo. And again, that 300 by 300 pixel, it's tiny in there, okay? The tagline, it's optional for now. If you have a tagline you want to put in there, great. If not, skip that. And then check the box at the very bottom, and that is how you create your page. Go ahead on to the next slide. That is it, guys. It's a super simple process to set up your company page immediately. If you are working in a nonprofit, chances are you are strapped for resources and you wear many hats. One of those hats might be graphic designer, and you really don't want to wear that hat, right? I use a website called canva.com. It's free. It's like graphic design for dummies, you guys. If you haven't used Canva, like stop what you're doing, go and set up an account today. But basically what you can do is you can go into Canva, you can create an image 300 by 300 pixels, create your logo. So create your little tiny logo in that field. You can go into Canva and create that header image in the background, 1128 by 191, I think were the dimensions. You can create that, okay? And just consider, you know, how those visual elements are going to help to make your profile pop a little bit. Go ahead on to the next slide if you could. So claim it now. And this is just a reminder on your company page. Claim your page now. You can always edit it later. And actually what happens is when you set up the page, you automatically become an admin. The next time you go to your company page, you're going to see an edit page button, and you can go back in and make changes. So all that stuff, the description, the tagline, all the other stuff, you can always come back later. So don't overthink it is my reminder for you guys there. Go ahead on to the next page if you could, Sheila. And I'm moving a little bit quickly here because I want to make sure we get through some good content here. Fill out as much as you can. So when you click on that edit page info button, you're going to see there's this field of different options along the left panel. It starts with header, and then it has page info. There's about, there's a description or an overview paragraph. Fill in as much as you can. So you'll see the description paragraph, for example, you get 2,000 characters, okay? Now, I'm a marketer, and I'm also a heavy LinkedIn user. So here's what I like to think about. What is the most important in the description is what is in the viewable area at the top before people have to click on see more. But I also know if I use all 2,000 characters, my page is going to come up in more search results. When people are looking for words and phrases that I have included in that description field, it's going to help me to come up, okay? So that's one thing I want you guys to think about. The other is, and this is my little hack. You ready for this? This is what I do. If you're struggling with, I don't know how we describe ourselves. I don't know what keywords and phrases we should put in there. What are the specialties? Look at your top competitors. So the way I like to think about this analogy is if I'm a coffee shop, my actual competitor is the other coffee shop down the street, right? My aspirational competitors, the big players in the market, are Starbucks and Tim Hortons. So I'm going to look them up on LinkedIn, and I'm going to see what do they have in their company page. Because guess what? They've invested time, effort, people, resources, agencies, research, all this other stuff into building their page. Why not benefit from them, right? So look at your top competitors and see what they have filled out in their company page. All right, move on to the next slide. Is this making sense so far for you guys? If you could message in chat and say, yep, making sense. You can say, no, Brenda, not making sense at all. I'm going to go find another breakout session. No, don't tell me that. Just leave quietly, really. I just want to make sure you guys are still following along. We're going to shift now into your data on your company page. So I'm assuming the first group there, you haven't set up a page yet. That's what you need to do. Now let's move into you already have a page. And I like to think about data tells us a story that we can't refute, right? Science exists, it's real, and we have data within our company page that can help us to assess our performance as we move forward. If you go to the next slide, Sheila, I'm going to break down a couple of these different data areas within your company page for you. Now, do keep in mind the only people who can see this analytic data would be people who have been assigned an admin of your company page. Okay, so if you're an admin of your company page, you're going to see a menu when you go into your company page at the top. It's going to say home, content, and then analytics and activity. If you click on the analytics dropdown, you're going to see three options: visitors, updates, and followers. I'm going to walk you through how and what to do with that data next. So go ahead on to the next slide if you could, Sheila. So we're under the analytics dropdown. First thing we're going to do is we're going to click on visitors. What are visitors? Well, these are people who have visited your company page. So you guys remember my Bath and Body Works analogy? These are people who walked inside the store, okay? So they're visiting your page, they're looking around. First thing I like to do here is in the time frame, it's going to default, I think, to the past 14 days. That's not enough time to really get a sense of what's happening. So I like to change that to 30 days or more, because then I can look at this trend line over time. The next thing I would recommend you do is look at spikes. Where are you seeing spikes in data and people coming in and looking at your page? That's going to help you to kind of assess what happened. You know, what was I doing during that time frame? Was I presenting at the Troy Chamber Nonprofit Conference and I encourage people to follow Meller Marketing? By the way, go follow Meller Marketing on LinkedIn. Was I promoting an event and I was encouraging people to check us out on social media? Think about what you were doing that was driving people to visit your page during that time. And then the other thing down below, this is really interesting. Down below, you're going to see visitor demographics, and there's a bunch of different categories that are in here. There's job function, location, seniority, industry, company size. So look through and kind of toggle through that data. How does that match up with your target audience? Now, for me, I'm trying to target mainly people who work in business development in Metro Detroit, because that's where I'm based, and a company of a certain size, maybe certain job titles. I want to look through and see, am I attracting the right people to my page? If this is not matching up with my target data, then I can do two things. One, I have a different target audience that I wasn't even aware of, and I should be looking at those people instead. Or I need to be changing the activity that I'm posting on my page so that I'm attracting more of the right people that match my target audience, okay? So this is this very first page, this is your visitor data. We're gonna have Sheila scroll on to the next page next, And we're going to look at the next section of your analytics, which is updates, okay? So again, in the analytics, I'm going to change the drop down to updates. Same technique here, change the time frame, change it to 30 days so you can look at that trend line over a greater period of time. Then you can really start to see the spikes that are happening there. Something happened you can see in the middle of my trend line here, right in the middle, is a huge spike. So I now need to figure out what happened. And below this line, this data line, you're going to see at the bottom a list of all of your posts that you have done on your company page. And then you're going to see some results. How many impressions, how many clicks, how many likes, etc. Now I can start to look through and figure out what happened. When did I get that big peak? And my guess is every time I posted, I got another peak in the spikes there, right? So here's what I recommend. General rule of thumb for your company page. You should be posting at least once a week, okay? Ideally, you can work up to 2, 3, 4, or 5 times a week. You can even go a little bit more, okay? Now, on your personal profile, I recommend no more than once per business day. Your company page, you can actually get away for posting a little bit more than that. But here, I would just say, generally speaking, you want to be posting at least once, and that's where this update data is referring to. These are the posts that you've done on your page, okay? Now, go ahead and scroll on to the next page, Sheila. Are you guys getting any new insights so far from this presentation? If you are, message in chat and say, yes, I'm learning new stuff. Something like that. So I know we're kind of following along here. All right. So next we're under, and this is under updates. It actually should say followers at the top of the page. I apologize, but this is under analytics followers. Again, change the time frame, 30 days or more. Now these are people that have not just visited your page, but they have clicked the follow button. Now, in marketing terms, the best way I can explain this is they've gone to your page and they've raised their hand. Because when they click on follow, that means, yes, I want more information. So if I'm using my Bath and Body Works analogy, it's when I walk into the store and the sales associate hands me a basket and says, we're doing buy 3, get 3 free. I take the basket from them because guess what? I'm going to put things in my basket as I go in the store. So when we get followers to our page, that is a great thing because these are people who are open and receptive to learning more about our company. These are leads for us, if you will. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the time frame to 30 days. One of the things I don't like about this section, guys, is this is a line graph which tends to show trends. This really should be a bar graph because if you look along the left navigation, this is showing followers, new followers. It's not showing total followers. So when I see ups and downs, it's not that my total follower count is ranging sporadically. It's that I got a huge spike and then I didn't get as many followers, and then I got more followers, and then I was kind of growing at a smaller rate. So here's what I like to think about. When I see the spikes, what happened? Now, if you were an admin on Meller Marketing, you would know exactly what I'm doing. LinkedIn gives you the ability to add additional followers by inviting them to follow your page, and they give you 100 invitations per month. Every day on the first day of the month, you know what I do? I send out 100 follower requests to my page. I go through and I select people that have a high likelihood of accepting it. Those are people who match my targeted job titles or who know me personally, and they will get a little notification in their invitation saying, Brenda Meller invited you to follow Meller Marketing. That's where I'm getting those spikes from, okay? And then, really cool thing here, guys, below this trend line at the bottom, you're gonna see all of your page followers. So many times I've gotten asked this question, how do I see who these people are? Scroll to the bottom of this section, you're gonna see who were these people that are following your page. And next to that, it'll show first, second, or third. That is your connection to that person. If it's first, it means you're already connected to them. If it's second or third, guess what? That is a lead waiting for you. Follow up with them and invite them to connect. And I wouldn't say, hi, Brian, I saw that you followed my company page on LinkedIn because that's kind of creepy and stalkerish, right? But instead, I would say, hi, Brian. It's been a while since we talked when I was at Walsh. Hope you and the family are doing well. Let's connect on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm going to let Brian know that I know he followed my page, but I'm not going to mention it in that message to him. Okay, so again, this is analytics for followers. I'll make sure to get that updated in the slide deck before we get that sent out. But that's just a couple of the data points that you can look at on your company page. Sheila, if you can go on to the next slide, please. All right, great tips on poking frequency. Glad to hear this is good for you guys to hear. All right, so my next section is called Wow, That's Awesome, because I want to give you some tips on how to create company page posts that engage. If you can move on to the next slide here, Sheila, and I've actually got these kind of in a list that we could kind of run through here quickly. And I want to encourage you guys, you will get a copy of the slide deck, but if you have your camera with you, your phone rather with you, pull out your phone right now and literally turn it sideways and take a picture of this, because I guarantee you're going to want to remember this one, and I have another checklist later. This is something you're going to want to have handy. When you're struggling with what do we post on our company page, having this in your phone is going to come in handy. You're going to thank me for that. So here's one thing you want to do. Your company page, get ready for this. You guys sitting down, get ready for this. Your company page is not just about you and your company. Yes, I said it. Your company page should be a place where you engage your community, okay? How do you do that? You tag people and you tag other organization in your posts. Now, what I'm going to do after I get done presenting here today, I'm going to take a picture that I took of, who was it? Chris Druin, I think his name was. And I watched his presentation on selling to prospect. I took a screen capture. I'm going to go and post that in my Meller Marketing Company page, and I'm going to tag him. I may also take a picture of this presentation with Sheila's photo and thank her for helping me today. I'm going to tag others. By doing so, you know what that does is it pulls those people to the page. Some of those people may go and click and share that with their network, or they'll add a comment or something to it. That's going to help to create these really awesome company page posts because I get people talking on them. The other thing I like to do, you as an organization, you're not just a cold organization that doesn't have feelings, right? You are made up of people. So what if we took one day a week, let's just call it Meet the Team Monday, and you showcase somebody who works for your company. And maybe you ask them 3 to 5 questions. When did you start working for United Way? What's your role? And then maybe some personal questions. Where's your favorite place to vacation in Michigan? What's your favorite season? And do you have any pets? Something like that. Something really simple, conversational. Ask them to take a picture, submit it to you, and you could post that on your company page. It just really helps to get engagement up because you're humanizing your business for one, and you're going to tag that person in the post. That person, you know what they're going to do? They're going to blast that post out to their network, and it's going to increase visibility for your company page. So simple technique here. Another thing, video is getting more and more popular on LinkedIn. So videos do really well. Make sure that you upload them organically, not posting them as a YouTube link, and make sure that you use burned-in captions. That both helps the audio impaired community, but it also helps for people that are watching videos on mute so they can watch and read your captions. Ask questions. So when you post something on LinkedIn, occasionally include a question as a part of that post. And it can be, what do you think? Or maybe you're talking about seasons of the year. Maybe you say, what's your favorite season? So think about something that's a little bit more conversational. The last point I want to give you on company page post and engage is this. This is a social media platform. Even though it's professional, we need to be social, you guys. And the way you do that is when you post something on your page and somebody replies to that post, you want to respond back to them. So keep the conversation going. A simple 5 or more word reply is absolutely fine. Thank you, Kathleen, for your comment. Hope you're having a great week. It doesn't matter what it is, but reply and keep the conversation going. Sheila, if you could move on to the next slide here. And I want to do a quick time check on this too, Sheila. I believe we're supposed to end at 11:40 today. Is that correct? If you could unmute yourself just to confirm.
That is correct.
All right. So can we go for a few more minutes? Would that be okay? Or is it going to cut us off if I need to end at 11:40?
The next sessions begin at 11:45. So if everyone can just jump right over, they should be able to just jump right into the next session.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to plan on going to 11:45. If you need to take a bio break or whatever before your next session, totally fine. But I'm just going to keep going to 11:45. All right. So my next session is called You Guys Want Some Pie? And if we were in person, I would have brought you some pie. But this is a
Please know we will be sending out the presentation, so you will all get the slides.
All right, can you hear me? Sheila? Anybody?
Hey, Brenda, I let everyone know you had technical issues and asked them to just check out the next set of sessions, but we would get everything out.
Sorry, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a recording of this whole thing on just my local computer, and then I'm going to put it on YouTube as unlisted, and I'm going to send the link to you.
Fantastic. That would be awesome.
I apologize. My husband's in the other room yelling about our internet right now, and he's been on the phone with tech support all morning. But It happens, unfortunately.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Danielle, we'll be making sure to get you a link to that. Brenda's going to retape it for us, and then we'll get it out to you.
Yeah, you guys can use what you had recorded here today, Sheila, but I will do a full recording of the full presentation from start to finish. And rather than trying to wrap up the last few slides here, guys, I just want to see, does anyone have any questions? If you're still in the session right now, I think we've got around 15 or so people. If you have any questions, please enter those in chat now. What I didn't get to today was talking about admins. I usually recommend that you have multiple people as your admins on your site there. And then there was, I think, one more list of things I wanted to talk about, which was lead generation on your page and whatnot. But I'm going to do that in the full recorded version of the presentation. So if you do have any questions, I'll hang out here for a few minutes. I think there's another breakout session that's starting at 11:45. Apologize. The Miller Marketing Headquarters internet was not working as had been anticipated for today. But you know what? We do the best with what we can. And know that it's not because I don't love you guys, because I love you dearly. I love you almost as much as pie. And I don't want this to happen, but you know, sometimes we just got to roll with the punches, right? So be that as it may, here we are. And thank you so much, Sheila, for helping out and for keeping things running smoothly in the background. I really appreciate your help.
Anytime, anytime. Loved it. And I took notes, so that was good too.
Can you put yourself on video for a second so I can take a picture of you? Yay!
Oh, God, help me. Hold on, wait. Just kidding.
There we go. All right, ready? Here we go. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Sheila. I guess we're done now, right? So you guys don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You got to go find another session. So go find something.
Thank you, Brenda.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. See you at another session.